Hello, my dear and lovely Capricorns. This is your horoscope for July 2025. Now, July, we will have big shift going on in the face of Uranus. Now, Uranus is planet of surprises. It's a planet of electricity and also planet of all things innovations like technologies, and it's changing sign. Now, Uranus is a slow moving planet, my dear Capricorns, and it changes every 7 years. So it stays in one sign 7 years. And this time on July 4th, it's moving into your house of work, sixth house, my dear Capricorns, for the next 7 years journey. Now, this on July 7th, sorry, not July 4th. July 4th, actually, this planet Uranus will connect with Venus, planet of true love. They will connect in your house of true love, where Uranus spent for the last 7 years. So right before it moves out of your house of love, it might give you last sort of amazing spark, like love interest, especially those of you who are single. Beginning of July will be time for you to circulate, my dear Capricorns. Go out and about to make something happen, so you need to put some effort so that this aspect will might play out in your life. And it might be love from first sight, for example, because Venus is planet of love and Uranus is planet of surprises. And in the beginning of July, a lot of Capricorns might catch this sort of spark between new, like love interest, let's say, between you and that person, or completely someone new. Especially it might be true for those of you who has some placement at the end of Capricorn season around 29 degrees, especially if you have sun or ascendant or moon around there. It could be the time when these two planets will create a situation where you might fall in love and meet your one and only. And also now, July 7th, as I said, Uranus is moving into your house of work for the next 7 years. But from July 7th until November 8th, it's going to stay in your sixth house before moving out backwards into your fifth house, where it spent last 7 years. So this time will be a bit of like a window, it's a preview of what's to come in next 7 years when Uranus hits your sixth house next year, end of April 2026, to stay there until 2032. Now, I'm going to make a whole separate video on this because this is an interesting one. Uranus last time journey in your sixth house was during Second World War, my dear Capricorns. None of us experience this energy, Uranus in your sixth house, unless you are 84 years old and even older, because Uranus takes 84 years to make whole circle around the zodiac. So last time this vibration was on when it was from 1941 until 1948. So this time, this is something new, and it's going to energize, diversify your work area, my dear Capricorns. A lot of you guys might change in upcoming 7 years to some sort of job position which deals with new technologies, innovations, or even social media like marketing. Because Uranus rules these things, so online, internet. A lot of you guys might switch to this kind of areas, your job, your career. And stay tuned what this Uranus is going to bring from July until November. So to get the picture of what's going to happen, let's say, in the next 7 years, Uranus rules your house of income. So your most lucky area of income will be actually internet, social media, and doing something innovative that no one is doing yet, like still in the whole world. Like, I don't know, biotechnologies, AI, these kind of areas will be quite lucrative in terms of earning money for you, my dear Capricorns, in upcoming 7 years. So as I said, stay tuned to this video. Now let's talk about Neptune and Saturn. Your ruler, Saturn, will slow down. These two planets, they will start retrograding in July, meaning moving backwards. Neptune will start its retrograde on July 4th, and Saturn will go retrograde after its big brother Neptune on July 13th in your house of family. Both of them, whole this 2025, they are moving together hand in hand, like, I don't know, like some relatives. But they will, connect their forces fully only next year when they will make exact conjunction. But anyhow, still this year they are very close to each other, and they are together moving back and forth between your fourth house and third house. Now, if you missed the videos about Neptune in your fourth house, which is going to stay next 14 years, make sure to check that on my YouTube. And also Saturn, I made a whole separate video on that too, in your fourth house, where it's going to stay next 3 years, your ruler. So also make sure to check those videos on my channel. Now, Neptune will be retrograding almost until end of the year, December 10th, and Saturn will be retrograding also until end of November. So pretty much second half of this 2025, these two planets will send you on a reflective journey, sort of journey of whether you want to become a family or whether you want to have a family. In general, this topic of family or concept of family, let's say, will be circulating your mind quite often. It's not something like we actively thinking daily, but it's something which is subconsciously time to time popping up into our mind. These planets, they more make us grow within, not outside somehow. And they tend to more manifest as a spiritual growth rather than something which is outer world sort of events. Now, these two planets, they're retrograding in your fourth house. For some of you guys, it will be about real estate matter, especially if you've been planning to buy or planning to sell, for example, or maybe you're building, let's say, a house or some property you have, or maybe investing into property area, or maybe starting a career in around property area. Becoming like real estate agent, whether to do that or not, whether to study it or not. So these kind of topics might be circulating, or it could be, as I said, about one or two your family members. For example, your mother's situation might concern you for one or another reason, and you might get busy until November with your mother's situation, whether it's her health or maybe her life or career. Something will be going on there that will affect you. Or maybe you want your mother to live closer to you, and that's why you are buying a real estate for her, for example. Or maybe you want to make her life easier, and you might be supporting her in one way or another, like financial support or any type of support, So these kind of topics will be present while these two planets will be retrograding in your fourth house. One another topic, it's about citizenship, like moving to another country, getting a passport of another country or residence permit. So these things might get put on pause because some documents will need maybe revision or resubmission, or some things will be missing. So you might get busy around this document thing while these two planets will be retrograding, my dear Capricorns. Now, let's get to the sweetest full moon that is happening on July 10th. Full moon in your first house. Amazing, gorgeous full moon. You will get only one full moons per year, and this one is amazing, which is happening in your first house. Those of you who are born 7th of January, plus or minus 5 days, you will be affected the most But all Capricorns will enjoy irrespective to this full moon because it's happening in your sign, my dear Capricorns. It's hitting your 18th degree. Now, this full moon, full moons are about conclusion. They put endings or they put some spotlight into some situation. And Mars will be supporting that full moon. Mars is in your house of foreign things. So it seems like around beginning of July, you will travel somewhere far. Like mostly possibility that you're going to travel where is that your maybe home, because Mars rules your area of home, your area where you born, let's say, or somewhere that you know well, or somewhere where you grew up, or where your relatives live. So seems like you will travel there, and that somewhere is far because Mars is in your ninth house. Ninth house is a far land house. So you will be happy when you're going back home, for example, visiting your mom. Or vice versa, your mom or someone from your family might come visit you, and that's how you're gonna sort of travel, mentally, that your family members are visiting you, one or two, and you might feel this sort of feeling that you are home. So one of your family members might visit you, and your ruler, and the ruler of this full moon, Saturn, will connect with Neptune in your fourth house, and both of them will receive boosts from Pluto and Uranus. Now Uranus is in your sixth house and Pluto is in your second house. Seems like anyhow you will be juggling between work, but it will be sort of pleasant kind of things that you will be busy around this full moon, maybe finalizing on the purchase of real estate like home, or maybe you are finishing building your place, or maybe renovating, for example, your living area, living space, and money will be enough and everything will work out. It's sort of, like those happy sort of kind of being busy. These kind of things might happen. Also, it is something that you wished for a long time, because Pluto is ruling your house of wishes and future, and everything will work out around this full moon. It's a perfect one. Work with this, my dear Capricorns. Amazing full moon happening. Something like some project which is dear to your heart might finish too. For example, like education, especially if you studied something and here you will, graduate with honors. Seems like you will get your education certificate. And for those of you who've been wishing to go study somewhere, again, you might get that, long desired acceptance letter from universities, for example. Now, as we get to the second part of July, we get to a bit of a difficult time for all of us. So we are all in this together, not only you, my dear Capricorns. July 18th, Mercury goes retrograde in your financial house until August 11th. Now, Mercury is planet of communication, and it retrogrades 3 times per year. This is its second retrograde in your house of finances. Now, it's a shared finances, meaning finances that you share with your husband, with your wife, with your maybe long-term partner. It's a family budget, or it's also about loans, bank loans, investments, and alimony, all these kind of money that come to you from other places. So here, Mercury is retrograding, amazing time to actually give back if you have some debts, if you want to cover something, but not a good time to take any loan around this time, because then it will be for a long time and some documents will be missing or some miscommunication, mishaps happen. Mercury is a planet of communication and ideas, data, information. So always double check all the documents, all the deals, even triple check, and check with someone who is in power so that you will not miss any detail until August 11th. And in general, it's not a good time to make any surgeries, especially plastic surgeries, buying something very expensive because you might not like it at the end, or you might change your mind, or something will be wrong with that purchase, especially technological things like phones, I don't know, laptops. All these things go, let's say, sideways. Now, also during Mercury retrograde, not great time to do any dental things. And again, it depends. Still, better to postpone until second half of August, my dear Capricorns. July 23rd, Mars conjuncts Sun South Node in your ninth house and opposing directly North Node in your third house. And to make this picture even a bit more difficult, Venus is making hard aspect to that Mars and North Node. So to both nodes, it's making a hard, very difficult aspect from your house of work. And those of you who've been, thinking to sign some important papers, something might go wrong around this end of July. So try to do it even way before, in the beginning, first half of July, because second half of July is completely not a great time to do anything. And it seems like you won't be able to do anything because especially when it comes like signing papers, because it's in your house of deals related to work. For example, if you've been waiting some papers from work or job offer, that paper isn't coming, seems like, my dear Capricorns. This is a bit sour part to report, but I'm trying to say how everything as it is, as I see it, and its exact aspect. So Venus is a lover of Mars, but they will be arguing, you see, and Mars is conjunct South Node. Now Mars, whatever it touches, it makes it lit, it activates it, because Mars is impatient. Let's get things done planet. So it's connecting your South Node of losses. Like South Node is a bit, where we need to sacrifice some things, where we need to get rid of some things. So it seems like it is in your ninth house. Now this part of your chart will get activated, something related to visa, or maybe papers for relocation for work, or papers for like documents as well, maybe citizenship. Also about education here might be happening, or if your plan was to have business trip around this time, that business trip might not happen again, or even if it will happen, something might be disrupting there around this time. So better to get ready for anything to happen, like possibility. Ninth house is also about education. Again, education papers might need some revision too. And also it's about, for example, if you work with a foreign client, again, that client and that deal seems like will have some sort of turn of events which you won't be welcoming and you won't be happy about. Now, next day, July 24th, we have new moon, a difficult one, which is in your financial house, because Pluto, which is in another financial house, will be opposing that new moon. The new moons are about new energies. Now, Pluto will sit directly opposite that new moon in your house of income, and new moon is appearing in your house of other people's money. So Pluto rules your house of wishes, something that you wished, for example, bank loan, or I don't know, buying some property, or maybe investment or alimony. These topics will hit you hard. Some things that you might need to spend money, or that money will be scarce, sort of won't be enough for your wish to come true. Now we will have some support from the universe as Saturn and Neptune from your house of family. They will support that new moon, will send gorgeous beam to that new moon and Pluto together, meaning mitigating the effects. Even if there will be some sort of financial tension, still you might receive that same help. Maybe it's financial help, or maybe it's actually good advice from your family member, especially your mother or father. Anyone actually from your family circle might help you with amazing advice. So listen to it. my dear Capricorns. Now, in general, this new moon will hit those of you who are born around 22nd of December, plus or minus 5 days, because it's happening at second degree. And also it could be related to supporting your studies, or it could be related about alimony, as I said, or it could be also related investments. Now, 8 house is also about conception, like getting pregnant. If that was your wish, this new moon might deliver the news. But again, seems like that news you might not be so much welcoming. Still, your family has your back, and they will support any your decision regarding the baby, my dear Capricorns. 8 house is also house of mental state and all things esoterics. You might get heavily invested and interested into astrology, numerology, this sort of topics. And again, like, these kind of things might not be a main source of income. For example, if you are thinking to becoming an astrologer or someone who is involved with this area, like mystical, magical subjects, still your family will support your decision. Again, my dear Capricorn. So listen and take good care and be in and around your family members, my dears. Now, and lastly, I would like to tell that July 31st, Venus, planet of love, is moving to your marriage house. Now, for the whole next August until almost end of August, Venus will be firing your seventh house of love, committed partnerships, blessing it is with love and understanding between you and your hubby, or you and your wifey, or your long-term partner, or if you are planning that marriage, this will be amazing, auspicious time to get wedding, let's say, going on here, while Venus will be in your seventh house. In general, we will be you feel that you are attractive, and you are attracted also to your people, your type of people in general, when Venus is in the seventh house, my dear Capricorns. Amazing, amazing time. And July will be also positive, so stay on a positive note. Always check your rising sign and moon sign too. Love you all. Bye bye.